Hi guys, welcome to Stoney's Real Pit Barbecue. Right now we're going to go over some training videos with everyone to show them exactly what we expect of them, how to do it safely, how to prepare everything without having any kind of mishaps, and making sure that everything's prepared to our expectations. So, needless to say, we're going to start off in various different lessons and grow you in your entire menu from there. So, thank you very much.
All right, we're going to go through proper onion etiquette. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys how to dice an onion, because that's pretty much the first thing you learn in culinary school. Onions are pretty much a major staple in all of culinary world, so how to properly treat one, we use them all in so many of the things that we actually make here at Stoney's. So I'm going to first kind of give you an idea as to how to peel an onion. Then we'll go through how to dice it, and then we're going to go through how something a little more specific to Stoney's, how I want the onions to be done in regards to the sandwiches. So we'll do that here in a second. So what you want to do is you want to start by top and bottoming the onion. So you kind of come down here like this, and you only go part of the way through, okay? Come here like this, and then you're going to pull it and create a little bit of an opening here, okay? And you're going to do the same thing on this side here, in the opposite direction. Swear you just watched me sharpen this knife. Okay, pull that this way right there, and it leaves a little opening. Then you can kind of get in here with the blade and peel it apart. Now, you're going to experience something that I'm already beginning to experience right now, as far as your eyes are going to start watering. A good way to keep that from happening is to go grab a cube of ice and suck on it. I know it sounds weird, but it is true. Unfortunately for me, you're going to have to watch me cry, because I can't talk to you while I'm peeling, while I've got an ice cube in my mouth. So, Stoney gets emotional. Okay, it's not the greatest job. You still have, like, I've still got some uneven parts right here, so we're going to kind of get rid of those and try and get as even of a onion as we can. All right, so starting off with the dicing side of things, we're going to cut it in half. You're going to cut it from the top down to the bottom. Don't cut it widthwise, top to bottom, okay? Now, proper technique. I don't want to ever see you do this, putting the point out here. A lot of people think that gives you stability in the blade. It does not. What you're going to want to do is you want to hold your hand out like this, index finger and your thumb like this, and you pinch the blade, okay? And then these three fingers here go onto the hilt, go onto the handle. And so this should be your grip. It may be a little uncomfortable at first, but the longer you do it, the more you're going to see that you've got a whole lot more control. Knife skills are incredibly important in this job. You will go 100 times faster if you get good knife skills, okay? Then the left hand, what you want to do is you want to make what we call a bear claw, just like this, okay? You see all those chefs out there that are going through and they're able to, you know, slice up a cucumber in very, very thin sheets in 5 seconds flat. That's because they use a technique where it's called bear claw. And what it does is you rub that blade on this knuckle as it's going through. Now, you never want to, if you can help it at all, lift the blade up off of the table. That creates stability. So when you go to slice, you're creating an up and down motion like this, okay? All right, so bear claw, keep your knuckles to where they're over the tips of your fingers, and make sure, number one, curve this thumb in, because it will, trust me, I have sliced this thumb almost in half, mincing garlic. It sucked, and it was because it was sticking out there like a sore thumb, okay? All right, so anyhow, I got my bear claw, I got proper grip, and I'm gonna slice that sucker in half, okay? All right, set this off to the side here. Now, what you want to do is you want to put your palm down here, like so, and you're going to want to kind of bring this blade in, but you don't want it to go all the way through to the other side. You want to leave a little bit left, okay? So it's about this far into the onion, like that. Then you're gonna do it again. You're gonna pull that knife out, and you're gonna come up probably about 1/4 inch. You're gonna put your palm down, you're gonna wrap your fingers around it, like so, and pull that blade in. Again, not all the way through. Let's try one more time. Put your palm down so that you can control it. Again, not all the way through. So basically what it looks like here is almost like a deck of cards, okay? I've got 4 incisions that don't go all the way through, yet the onion holds together. Now, face it towards you, take the blade, put it down at the same incision level on this side, and bring it down. And again. And again. All the way across the entire onion. Now there are some faster ways of doing this, and if you are fairly well trained in culinary techniques, you know, you do it however you're comfortable. But now, as you can see, I've got incisions in both directions here. Now I put the onion parallel to me like this, I bear claw it, and you dice straight down. Okay? You want them as even as you possibly can, primarily because as long as they're the same size, they'll take the exact same amount of time to cook. And that right there is how you dice an onion. Okay? All right, now I'm going to show you another way. It's the way I personally use it. That's the way they teach you in culinary school. The way I do it, a little bit quicker. I come down at an angle and basically across like this. Like I said, if you do this with a larger knife and you do it a couple hundred times over, you're going to get pretty quick at it and pretty proficient as far as knife handling goes. Okay, so pretty close to the same. Sometimes you got to break them up, but it's pretty close to the same consistency. Okay, that's dicing 101. The only thing you really dice onions, and we kind of haven't exactly settled in on a proper method. We've been julienning the onions for the beans, but dicing is how we got started. We may go back, we may not. It's always a good skill even to learn from home how to dice. Okay, next one, we're going to show you how to do the sandwich onions, top and bottom it. Skin. And you're going to find these little imperfections in there. You know, just peel it down until they're not there anymore, basically, if you can. Okay, so now this time you're not going to half the onion because we actually like to have beautiful rings for our sandwiches. Those rings will lay on top of the sandwich, as you will see in the video. They'll lay on top of the sandwich and look absolutely gorgeous. That's what we want. But you can't do that with just this because obviously you've got to slice it this way. And if you try to set it that way, what does it not do? It doesn't stay still, it rolls. So we don't want that. So what we're going to do is we're going to nick a little flat spot off of the bottom there, not cutting through too many of the layers. See, we only got 2 layers out of that, but now I got a spot that will just sit there nice and flat, perfectly safe. If you see anybody, I don't care if there's senior people in here that have been here for a long time, or myself, or anybody else not doing this and just kind of flying by the wayside, stop them and say, listen, this isn't worth a thumb. This isn't worth a finger, okay? Do it the proper way. I want you to do it the proper way. I will call you out on it if you don't do it the proper way. Okay, now with this here, we're wanting to create some efficiency, correct? We don't want big old honking, you know, we don't want an onion, you know, much bigger than this on on the sandwiches. It's just too much. So what we do is we try to make sure that you go straight up and down. Like I said, utilize those knuckles and let that be your measurement. Okay, you can adjust the width of it all by that, by coming in or going out. Let's see if that's a better angle. Okay, once. Now that we got some light on the situation here. Okay, so coming in or going out, I can make as big of a slice as I want, but on this particular one, I only want no bigger than 1/8 of an inch. Okay, you go straight down, just like that. Straight down. Sometimes it doesn't always work. This thin of a slice means that we're getting more out of the onion and we're not having waste. We see it all the time. If we have too big of an onion on the sandwich, a lot of times they pick the onion off. We don't want that. We don't want them to have any one particular ingredient that's way overpowering all the others. When you get down to a certain part of this onion, it's going to be a little bit harder to control it and make it, stable and everything. So you can do again from this direction here and slice it like that, and then eventually again get to a part and you can chop it up, dice it, do whatever you want with it. So this is what we're looking for right here. These kind of onions right here, they hold on as far as rings on the sandwich, and they're fantastic. They're not too big, not too small. They're visually pleasing. That's what you want. I don't want diced. I don't want halved. I don't want this. These fall off. These don't look as good. These are what we're looking for as far as the onion goes. Okay? All right, next, potato. So, with potato, it's pretty simple. We go through hundreds of pounds of potatoes each week. I mean, you'll get sick of it. We used to have a little dicing machine that you put the potato in and it pushes it through, kind of like a potato wedger, and somebody decided to throw a rock through it basically and it bent it all up. So this is the proper way. If somebody were to do that, we were to replace it. This is how you basically manage a potato. Obviously rinse it off. We don't peel the potatoes. One of the good things about us that kind of proves that we're homemade, we leave potato skins on most everything that we do. And so what you want to do is you want to half it so that you've got a flat working space, okay? Next, from that point on, you just sit there and you cut it into about thirds, like so. Do the same with this. Or you could bear claw if you want. I find that by keeping it together, as long as I'm not stabbing my hand or something, very carefully put it through here, you can hold the potato together. It'll give you a little bit of a straighter line. And then from this point on, you can dice a potato. The key is for mashed potatoes. Technically, mashed potatoes, you could throw them in the water just like this, but they're going to take longer to cook. I find if you do a smaller dice on the potatoes, it doesn't take nearly as long to cook, but it does take longer to slice. So the better you are at knife skills, you might consider just dicing. If it takes you a long time to do knife skills, just throw them in the pot like this and let the water do all the work. But like I said, if you're in a hurry, or like I said, we've got hundreds of pounds of potatoes to do, speed is pretty much the name of the game. So like I said, potato salad, those are a little bit trickier. You don't cook those nearly as much. And so this is about the size that I'm looking for, about a 1/2 inch to a 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch roughly of potato size. You don't want them too big that they're not going to fit in your mouth, and yet you don't want them so small that they just kind of turn into mush. So 1/4 inch, control your width based off of where your knuckles are at in the cut. That's potatoes, those are onions. Again, keep it clean, clear workspace. Before you start working on anything, do what's called mise en place, which is everything in its place. So all of your ingredients right where you need them, portioned out or available before you start the recipe, because timing is everything in cooking. We'll see you guys again in some of our future videos. Thank you very much.